got my ingredients prepared for KROFNE, and I'll start making it, and I'll show you exactly how it needs to be mixed and prepared to make the most perfect fluffy KROFNE. So to start off with, I use 4 cups of special white flour. I can show you the brand and everything after the video, but for now we'll just go ahead with it. Go straight into a large bowl. And then I just want to add some salt and butter as well. I'm going to be adding 1 tablespoon of salt. I'll just go grab it. I just use some regular table salt, which is fine. And that goes just straight in. I've already measured out 28 grams of unsalted fridge butter, but if you don't have a weigh scale, just use 2 tablespoons of regular butter. That will work as well. I'm just going to mix that up just a little bit. I know the butter was quite hard, but that's okay. We just keep mixing it, and it'll just break down eventually when we add the wet ingredients as well anyway. So just a little bit. And now I'll start preparing the wet ingredients. I'll pop this to the side for a moment. I'm going to use the same jug, use less utensils as well. Alright, so I've got my 200 mils of warm milk and 200 mils of warm water. As I said earlier, the recipe does say 300 mils each, but I'm just decreasing the quantity because last time was a little bit more runnier than I expected. So now, also in this, I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of sugar. I just use some caster sugar. One sachet of dry yeast. I just use this brand. It just works the easiest and most convenient, and this is all I need of yeast. But Mum was saying that wet yeast makes the dough rise quicker, so the rising time would only be like an hour, maybe 2 hours. But using dry yeast, you'll be waiting at least 3 or 4 hours, and that's okay, but that's just how I've been doing it. I haven't had time to go get wet yeast. So I'll pop this in. Now I'm just going to use the 1 egg. Just got some large eggs, so pop that in. And I'll just whisk this up quickly. If I need to, I'll pop this back in the microwave to get that yeast activated. But we'll see how this turns out with the warm milk that I already prepared. You can kind of see I've still got lumps, but that's okay. I'll just keep mixing a bit more, and we'll see how it turns out. I usually let this sit for another 5-10 minutes just to really get it broken down, but I might even pop it in the microwave for a little bit longer, and we'll see how it turns out. I just got it out of the microwave, and you can see that it's kind of dissolved itself, which is really what we want, so that's good. Now I'm just going to quickly taste test it, because I want to be able to taste a little bit of that sugar, but then I need to taste the yeast as well. And that's perfect. It's not too sweet, I should say, and I can just taste the yeast as well, so that's perfect. And now I'll just go ahead and pop this into my flour bit by bit, and I'll start mixing and keep adding as I need to. And if I do need more liquid, I'll just add some more warm water without anything else. It's starting to all gather up nicely, but it looks like I definitely need at least another 100 mils, not 200, just 100, and we'll see how we go. So bit by bit, I'll just add a little bit more water because I might not need the whole 100. We'll just see how this goes. But I like that that stickiness there. That's what I want, because now I have to start really working the dough. And by doing that, I will go sit on the couch, get a little bit more comfortable, power and strength into it when I've got it between my legs. I know it sounds silly, but I'll hold the bowl with my legs whilst I'm sitting on the couch, and then I'll be able to work it very nicely. Bear with me. Alright, so got myself set up, and now I just really need to bring some elasticity to the dough. Like, I need to really stretch it out and bring air into it. So a lot of work, about 10-15 minutes worth of just pushing it around, making it very sloppy. Right now I can feel that the dough is heavy and it's not really got that stretch that I need, because when I pull it up, it needs to be much more thinner rather than being so thick. So I'm thinking I'm just going to keep working it, but if it doesn't resolve itself, I'll pop some more water in it, and that should do the trick. It's beginning to be much thinner. If I try to lift it, it's breaking off and just much thinner now, which is what I need, but it's still quite heavy and it needs to be a little bit lighter. See how I've got all these air breaks and I'm stretching the dough a lot. I need to keep working it until the sides of the bowl or the dough just reattaches itself, which I'm getting there, but a little bit more work. So this consistency, I've eventually just added, I've probably only got like 10 mils or 5 mils in here, not much at all. I don't know if you can see how much is in there. There's barely anything, because it's all just added, and the dough has turned out exactly how I want it. Because now I can just scrape off the sides and it actually comes with the rest of the dough when I need it to. And now when I lift up the dough, it barely lifts up because it's got so much stickiness with the rest of the dough, which is what I want. And if I lift it from the side of the bowl, it has that extra pull, which is also good. Now I'm just going to pop it in here and we'll just let it sit there for about 5-6 hours, and later this evening after dinner they'll be prepared and we can just quickly fry them off. Okay, so I'm just sprinkling some flour on the bench. As you can see, the dough has risen so much. You can see bits of air in there as well, lots of bubbles. I'm just going to scoop it out onto my floured surface. I'm just going to lightly roll over it, not too much. I don't want it to be too flat either. When I cut these donuts out, there'll be lots left over, so I can just put them all together and make more donuts out of the leftovers. So, cut it out. And walk it over to my pre-made or pre-prepared resting area. We'll come back and keep going. Getting some olive oil and popping it into my wok. I'll use all of this olive oil, and I think it's about half a litre. And you can see that there's about 5 centimetres of depth in that wok, and I think that should do it. Actually, that's a little bit low, so I might just add a bit more. That should do it. Lovely. And I've also got prepared a bowl with some paper towel inside. And from here, we'll just pop it on. I've got it high heat and let it warm up for about 10-15 minutes. But to test it, I grab a wooden spoon and I just dip it in here. And I make sure I can see tiny little bubbles climbing up on the side, and if that's the case, then I know the oil's ready to go and it's not over boiled. So we'll just wait for that one and then we'll begin. As you can see, I've started to get little bubbles coming up on the side of this wooden spoon here. So I'm just going to start placing them in and seeing how they go. Let's go for it. Just over here, I've cut them all out and let them rise for about half an hour, and they look so big and so fluffy. So I'm just going to powder my hands in this flour that I kind of sprinkled over before I laid them down, just so they don't stick to my hands as I transfer them over. So because the dough is quite sticky still, but soft on top. So let's just take the two and make sure you slide it in, because it will be very, very hot. So your non-stick wok should be able to let you slide it in. I'm just going to grab two more because I know I can fit 4 or 5 in there. We'll just go with 4. Slide it in, slide it in. Perfect. And we'll just watch these babies rise. And I just find it easy to flip them with one side of the tong, and then they turn really easily like that. So they're just nicely bubbling. And with this recipe, the oil doesn't splash out, so it's really good, especially because I'm using a wok as well. As I'm talking, these donuts are rising in the oil, so they're going to become even more fluffier. So it's so exciting. I keep checking the bottom because I want it to be a tiny bit golden. I don't want it to be brown, I just want it to be golden. And I'll show you in a minute, because hopefully I'll be able to turn shortly. Nope, still black. They're perfect colour. So exciting. How big this bad boy is. Looks like a frog's throat. Transfer this bad boy to a plate for Luke. Pop that there, let that cool down, and begin the process again, and so on until all of them are done.